Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here for this announcement. And we're going to share some information with you here in the next few minutes about an investigation and about an arrest. Standing with me is Chief Deputy Prosecutor Josh Coker to my right. Standing behind me is Hamilton County Elected Prosecutor Greg Garrison, Lieutenant Josh Watson of the Indiana State Police, and Lieutenant Jeff Herron of the Indiana State Police. We're going to begin with a statement from Chief Deputy Prosecutor Josh Coker.
Thank you, John. Brian. Today marks a significant breakthrough in a case that has remained unsolved for over 3 decades. In 1992, Tony Bledsoe went missing, leaving a profound hole in the hearts of his family and friends. For decades, they have carried the weight of uncertainty and unanswered questions. Today, we are taking an important step forward. We are finally able to start answering those long-standing questions and bring clarity to a mystery that has haunted so many for so long. These developments follow an extensive and tireless investigation led by the Indiana State Police in conjunction with the Arcadia Police Department, whose dedication and persistence ultimately led to the identification and arrest of the suspect, Thomas Anderson, who is now charged with the murder of Tony Bledsoe. Thomas Anderson was taken into custody less than 2 hours ago. The filing of charges in this cold case is a testament to the relentless work of law enforcement and our unwavering commitment to justice. No matter how much time has passed, we will never stop seeking accountability for the victims and their families of these horrible crimes. We are grateful to the Indiana State Police for never giving up on this case. Their work exemplifies the perseverance and professionalism required to solve crimes that span decades. Tony Bledsoe is survived by 3 children, a wife, a mother, father, and 3 siblings. As the case moves forward, the defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. Thank you.
Now, we want to make it clear and make no mistake that this arrest that we're announcing today is not the conclusion of our investigation. The Indiana State Police stays committed to this investigation to answer more questions that we still have about the circumstances surrounding this murder. And we will continue to work through those. Right now, we're asking anybody with information about this case, even if it's very minor information, it could be very valuable to us. We're asking anybody with information to contact the Indiana State Police at 317-899-8508. Leave a message for Lieutenant Josh Watson with that information so that we can be sure that all of that information is accounted for. Again, this is not the conclusion of our investigation. I want to offer you a timeline of this investigation to give you a picture of how the Indiana State Police, along with several other law enforcement agencies across this state, put this case together. On March 16th of 1992, Tony Bledsoe was reported missing by his family from Arcadia, Indiana. Now we believe that was also the day that he was killed. On April 3rd of 1992, human remains were located in Putnam County near the Clay County line. That case was given to the Indiana State Police at the Putnamville District, and it remained unsolved, and those remains were unidentified until 2018. The way we came to the identity of those remains was in 2018, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office received a tip that they shared with Lieutenant Josh Watson. When he began to look back into the cold case, he was able to connect the missing persons cold case from Arcadia, Indiana, involving Tony Bledsoe, and the recovery of the human remains in Putnam County. Those remains, a short time later, through DNA testing, were identified as those of Tony Bledsoe. Since 2018, Lieutenant Watson and several other investigators and other agencies from the Arcadia Police Department, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, have worked tirelessly, following leads, serving warrants, interviewing people, following tips, to come to this arrest that we made today. But we're still looking for more information. So anybody with that information, we're asking to contact the Indiana State Police. We recognize that cases like this generate questions, and you have a lot of questions. At the conclusion of this press conference, we will be providing you a probable cause affidavit. Remember, that probable cause affidavit contains the information that led to the warrant arrest of our suspect. We will take a limited amount of questions, but understand that we may not be able to answer everything that you're asking.
You mentioned Bledsoe's family. Have you spoken with them? What has been their reaction from this arrest?
We met with the majority of the family earlier today. It was a very emotional experience for them, as you would expect. I think that they are relieved to be taking a step forward towards justice and to know this has been an unanswered question. They didn't know if Tony had it was a missing person for so long, so at least to know that he didn't abandon them, that instead this happened.
Did the suspect have any connections with Tony?
I believe that's laid out in the probable cause affidavit.
So, Andy Emmert is still considered a person of interest, or no?
At this point in time, we only have enough to charge one person, Thomas Anderson. This remains an open investigation, and we encourage anyone with any information to call and notify the state police with that information.
Are you still looking for, there's a possibility that more people were involved in this.
We are still looking for potential other suspects.
The claim that, so the human remains, were they all, what is it, a whole human that they found? Or all human remains together? Or were they separated?
That's laid out in the probable cause affidavit.
Are you still looking for human remains?
There's several pieces of evidence that we're continuing to look for.
When's he going to be in court? What's his initial hearing?
I would expect there to be an initial hearing tomorrow. He is in custody. He was taken into custody a couple hours ago, and the charges have been filed, so normal protocol would be he'd have an initial hearing tomorrow afternoon.
We know the remains were found a while ago, but can you tell us the distance from when he was last seen to where the remains were found? About how far away was that?
Yeah, so from Arcadia to the area in Putnam County that he was found, in terms of time, is probably about an hour and 45-minute drive. I don't have the exact distance. It was in a rural area in Putnam County.
Were you able to use the technology to identify the remains? How was that? Was it genetic genealogy, or what was that method?
DNA evidence. Once we had the John Doe were the remains for so many years, once we were able to connect the two cases, we were able to generate a DNA profile for the Bledsoe family and identify them that way.
Family members had to give DNA.
I'm not sure exactly what the process was, but we were able to positively identify him with DNA technology.
Based on what you've read and seen, or based on what I'm reading, where does this rank sort of in your career? It seems pretty gory stuff in this probable cause affidavit.
This case is a unique case, and any case like this, anytime there's a loss of human life, it is very impactful for us and something that we take very seriously.
Again, we want to thank you all for coming. We're asking anybody, again, with information about this case, they can report anonymously to Indiana State Police, 317-899-8508.
Could we get the spelling of your name?
Kocher is the last name. Joshua is the first name. I got some.
Can I ask real quickly, with so much time passed since the actual crime happened, does that make things more difficult?
It certainly makes things difficult, and that's what cold cases always present serious challenges. But that's something that we are dedicated to continue to search these cases out. That if you're going to commit a crime like this, if someone's going to take someone else's life, that we're never going to rest. Law enforcement is always going to be working on the case and trying to find justice for the victim and the victim's family.
Are you hoping that this gives other families hope who might be going through the same thing, waiting for answers?
I would certainly, yes, I would like for it to give them hope, and I would like for people that have committed these kind of crimes to lose some sleep at night knowing that we're coming for them.
Thank you.